are both suspended. Luis Diaz and Marco Grujic come in. For Chelsea, well, they were shocked 5-2 by West Brom in the Premier League last time out. Thomas Tuchel has rung the changes from that game. The starts for Rudiger, Christensen, Chilwell, Mount and Havertz. Kick-off in this one is at 8 o'clock. Porto and Chelsea will meet in the first leg of their Champions League quarter-final tie this evening at the Ramon Sanchez Pizjuan, which will play host to both legs of this showdown. Porto booked their place in the last 8 by seeing off Italian champions Juventus, and they've made 2 enforced changes from the second leg of that last 16 tie. Mehdi Taremi and Sergio Oliveira are both suspended. Luis Diaz and Marco Grujic come in. For Chelsea, well, they were shocked 5-2 by West Brom in the Premier League last time out. Thomas Tuchel has rung the changes from that game. The starts for Rudiger, Christensen, Chilwell, Mount and Havertz. Kick-off in this one is at 8 o'clock. Porto and Chelsea will meet in the first leg of their Champions League quarter-final tie this evening at the Ramon Sanchez Pizjuan, which will play host to both legs of this showdown. Porto booked their place in the last 8 by seeing off Italian champions Juventus, and they've made 2 enforced changes from the second leg of that last 16 tie. Mehdi Taremi and Sergio Oliveira are both suspended. Luis Diaz and Marco Grujic come in. For Chelsea, well, they were shocked 5-2 by West Brom in the Premier League last time out. Thomas Tuchel has rung the changes from that game. The starts for Rudiger, Christensen, Chilwell, Mount and Havertz. Kick-off in this one is at 8 o'clock. And 8 o'clock is upon us. It's a very warm welcome along to our independent off-tube studio commentary of this huge Champions League quarter-final first leg tie between FC Porto and Chelsea, taking place on neutral territory this evening at the Ramon Sanchez Pizjuan in Seville. Both legs actually of this tie will be played in Spain at this venue. Chelsea have just got the game underway. They're officially the away side this evening, so yes, they would have the advantage of the away goals rule. They're playing in their changed luminous pinky orange kit with the navy blue tops. Very distinctive look for Thomas Tuchel's side. Porto in their traditional blue and white colours, the home side. Technically this evening they're going from right to left in this first half. The game just underway. We've had the first free kick conceded. Wilson Manafa, the Porto right back, fouling his man in the middle of the park. Huge game then, this one. Two sides looking to battle it through to the semi-finals of the Champions League. Chelsea off the back of that shock 5-2 defeat to West Brom in the Premier League on home soil at the weekend. The first defeat under Thomas Tuchel. They only conceded 2 goals before then under the German. He'll be looking for a response from his side. Porto in decent form. Of course, not Juventus out the last 16 stage of this competition, but they're without 2 of their talismen from that tie, Mehdi Taremi and Sergio Oliveira, who scored what proved to be the crucial away goal in extra time. They're both out through suspension for Chelsea. It's 5 changes from the side that lost to West Brom. They're boosted by N'Golo Kante being back on the bench as well, but the players to come in: Antonio Rudiger, Andreas Christensen, Ben Chilwell, Mason Mount, stage of this competition. Porto looking to make some early running down the right-hand side, but Manafa's passage through is blocked, and Chelsea tidy up by going back to their goalkeeper, Edouard Mendy. He must have got used to not conceding goals, and a bit of a shock for him and the rest of the Chelsea team to ship 5 at West Brom. Of course, the caveat being Chelsea had Thiago Silva, who's on the bench this evening, sent off during the first half when they were leading 1-0. Early touch then for Antonio Rudiger for Chelsea, reportedly involved in a training ground bust-up with goalkeeper Kepa Arrizabalaga in the wake of Saturday's defeat. But he's played an interesting ball over the top there, and it's one for Timo Werner to chase. Tidied up by Chancel Mbemba for Porto. That'll be a throw-in to the Portuguese side leading in their right back. In fact, it's Chelsea's ball. Ben Chilwell takes it quickly. It breaks the way of Mason Mount, who works his way into the penalty area, flashes a dangerous ball across the 6-yard box. There was no one in pink within the penalty area, so Reece James will have to retrieve down the right-hand side. He goes back to Azpilicueta, and it's worked into the halfway line. Kovacic back out to the Chelsea captain once again, and between him and Kovacic they work it nicely. Jorginho will get involved as well. Kovacic now looking over the top for Chilwell, who'd made the dart from the left-hand side, but the ball was not accurate enough on this occasion from the Croatian international. Porto have possession. It's their Argentine goalkeeper, Agustin Marquezin, who stands over the ball. Argentine international, just the 7 caps to his name, but vastly experienced at club level. Joined Porto in 2019, previously spending all his career in South and Central America. 3.5 minutes on the clock. Porto 0, Chelsea 0. Seville holds fond memories for both these teams. Chelsea recently, of course, beating 7 caps Sevilla to his name, this stadium to clinch top spot during the group campaign this season. For Porto, their memories have to go back to 2003 when they beat Celtic after extra time in the then UEFA Cup final. Jose Mourinho's Porto, and of course the season after that under Mourinho they went on to win the Champions League as well, beating Monaco. So certainly fond memories for Porto. I can tell you, in the other Champions League game taking place in this group, it's Bayern Munich 0, PSG 1. Kylian Mbappe has scored inside 3 minutes. A crucial away goal for PSG, perhaps, in what is a rerun of last season's Champions League final. So the defending champions in trouble. Both those matches, unlike this one, are being played at their respective home ground. So it is taking place at the Allianz Arena this evening, as Reece James shows good industry down the right-hand side to retain possession for Chelsea. Andreas Christensen now, across to Tony Rudiger, who again looks for the arcing ball over the top. Chilwell challenging in the air there with Manafa, it'll be tidied up, but it should be tidied up by Manafa, and he's actually lost possession in a dangerous area. Havertz picks it up. Kovacic will now switch out to the right-hand side towards Reece James, who cushions it down for Mount. Challenge comes in there from Otavio. Will be a Chelsea throw-in, which they're keen to get on with quickly. Reece James has worked it back to Cesar Azpilicueta. 24 degrees it's supposed to be in Seville this evening. Glorious temperatures, although perhaps a little hot to be playing football. Although they will cool those temperatures as the match goes on. Ben Chilwell for Chelsea. The Blues dominating the opening exchanges in terms of possession, which is what we've come to expect under Thomas Tuchel, as Azpilicueta turns it around the corner for Mount. He's tracked stride for stride there by Porto's left-back Zaidu Sanusi, and it deflects off the Nigerian international and behind for the game's first corner. First opportunity for Chelsea to get bodies forward into the area from a set piece. Christensen, Rudiger likely to make their way up from the back. Work for Porto to do defensively in these opening exchanges. It's worked short, in fact, though, by Kai Havertz. Gets it back off James and goes infield to Jorginho. Kovacic will now look to clip it over the top, and it's Havertz who's actually made the dart inside, but there's too much on the pass, and it's claimed by Marquezin. Quickly looks to distribute the ball forward. There's 5 Chelsea players back, though, and only 1 Porto attacker, Luis Diaz, who's taken a whack to the face. He's actually done well, Diaz. He's gone down, but Porto do have possession. Referee happy for play to go on, and then he has spotted the need to halt play. Diaz, disgruntled look on his face, claiming he was pushed. Porto trying to get on with the resulting free kick over on the far side. Quickly there, it was Otavio who took it, but too quickly for the referees. Like in fact, Jesus Corona, who's gone down. He was a bit of the meat in the sandwich between Kovacic and Rudiger. Free kick given. And it's a chance now for Porto to lift the ball into the penalty area. Otavio standing over it. And Bemba's gone forward from the back. Sanusi as well. I'm sure Pepe will be in and amongst that as well. He is, in fact, the experienced former Real Madrid man, 38 years of age, the oldest player to play in the quarterfinals of the Champions League, oldest outfield player, that is, since Ryan Giggs back in 2014 for Manchester United. Otavio has worked the free kick short, though. Not sure if Pepe and Bemba and the likes will appreciate that. It's gone all the way back to Marquezin, in fact, who will now lift it forward. It's a good ball out to Otavio, but his touch lets him down, and Chelsea might be able to break with Kai Havertz down the left-hand side. He trying to interchange there with Jorginho. Tidied up comfortably enough, though, by Manafa. Marquezine clears long towards the strong, tall figure that is Moussa Marega. He will certainly let the three Chelsea centre-backs know they've been in a game this evening. I mean, goal threat as well, you'd imagine, for Porto, the Mali international. Averaging a goal almost every 2 games in Premier League football in Portugal. The number 11, 29 years of age, turns 30 actually in a week's time. Which we'll know he'll be going through to the semi-finals from this time, because the second leg of this showdown is due to take place next Tuesday. As Reece James for Chelsea works the ball back to Azpilicueta. Now Andreas Christensen, closed down by Marega. Azpilicueta involved again, and Chelsea work it nicely down the right-hand side. Reece James, though, tried to slide the ball around the corner to Mason Mount. It was well intercepted on 2 occasions, actually, there from Zaidu Sanusi, who turns it out of play for a throw-in. But Chelsea doing most of the early running in this game, dominating the possession. So it's Christensen who brings it out from the back, and there's space for Reece James, who's been a good outlet down this right-hand side, but the ball's always spinning away from him on this occasion, and Sanusi can watch it out of play for a goal kick. Lively start at the Ramon Sanchez Pizjuan. It's still Porto 0, Chelsea 0, as we've come accustomed to under Thomas Tuchel. Chelsea dominating the ball, not creating an awful lot as of yet. They have had a corner which came to nothing, and a couple of nearly moments. Kai Havertz flashing a dangerous ball across the face of the 6-yard box, but there was no takers for Chelsea on that occasion. For Porto, not much from them going forward as of yet. One free kick that they actually wasted in a good position. They took it short and ended up losing possession. So, cagey start perhaps, but it remains at 0-0. Porto now looking to come forward. It's twisting and turning. Is Jesus Corona down the left-hand side. He's dug out a cross, but straight into the hands of Edouard Mendy, who claims comfortably and distributes the ball out to Ben Chilwell on the left-hand side. Porto 0, Chelsea 0 it remains. An update from the other game in the group very shortly as well. PSG with that early goal were 1-0 up over the defending champions Bayern Munich in Munich. Just looking at that scoreline now, it is still 1-0 to Mauricio Pochettino's side. This game yet to set alight. It's kind of what you would expect in the opening exchanges of the first leg of a big European tie. Both teams feeling each other out. Marega is now looking to come forward for Porto. He's dug out a cross. Diaz could get a shot away. He does. It's blocked by Christensen. That's the first effort in anger towards goal, and it came from the Colombian Luis Diaz. As they're coming forward again, Porto. Again, Marega puts a decent ball into the area. This time Chelsea are able to scramble it away without the shot coming in. Porto will come again, though. Otavio into the box. It'll break to the edge of the area, and the volley is a decent effort from Matías Uribe that lands on the roof of Edouard Mendy's net. Uribe, who scored a wonder goal for Colombia, you may remember, in that round of 16 tie at the 2018 World Cup to force extra time against England. Sorry, I say they didn't. No, it was actually the shot that was saved brilliantly by Jordan Pickford, and then the resulting corner in stoppage time led to the equalising goal that forced extra time for Colombia. He's just had another brilliant effort there that I say lands on the roof of Edouard Mendy's goal. As Porto all of a sudden doing plenty of the running. Grujic works it back to Manafa, who easily works his way past Mateo Kovacic. He then has his route through towards the edge of the penalty area, blocked by Jorginho. Lively little spell this, though, for FC Porto. Ball at the feet of former Newcastle United defender Chancel Mbemba. Finds Pepe. He looks over the top. He spotted the angled run there of Otavio, but will carry over the Brazilian's head and out of play for a goal kick. But a couple of occasions there we've seen the brilliance of Moussa Marega down the right-hand side and the attacking quality that Porto possessed. That Uribe shot, it gets closer every time I see a replay. Dipping, swerving volley. As I say, had Edouard Mendy absolutely motionless in the Chelsea goal. And Porto showing what they've got. Lovely skill there from Sanusi to get away from a couple of challenges. Worked by Otavio, back to Mbemba and out to Manafa on the right-hand side. He's supported by Uribe. Back in it goes to Otavio, who finds himself in a central position at the moment. Header flicked on by Luis Diaz. Marega, lovely touch around the corner. Might be a chance for Otavio. He tries to tee up Diaz, who works onto his right foot. Can't find an angle for a shot. Uribe will keep the ball moving out to the left with Sanusi. Now a chance for Otavio to return it to Sanusi, who was in behind the Chelsea defence, trying to flash it across the 6-yard box. And just as he was watching it over his shoulder, I think he lost the flight of the ball, the fullback, and couldn't make the contact. In fact, he doesn't make any contact in the end with the ball. It was worked up really nicely, though, from Porto. Some slick football from the Portuguese side at the moment. Chelsea dominated the opening 10 minutes in terms of possession, but it's the reigning Primeira Liga champions who are doing the running at this moment in time. 14 minutes on the clock. Porto 0, Chelsea 0. Edouard Mendy with the goal kick forward. Looks like it hung up in the wind there. Didn't quite reach halfway. Chelsea do still have possession, though. Rudiger to Christensen and back to the German international once again. Complete change from Chelsea from a defensive point of view from the weekend. They went back four with Thiago Silva and Kurt Zuma at the centre of it. They've both been left out this evening. Thomas Tuchel's gone back to a back three as Jorginho perhaps a little bit fortunate there to win the free kick. Grujic going in with the challenge. A little bit too forcefully. Otherwise, Porto would have had a chance to break forward. Ball with Mason Mount for Chelsea. Plays it into Christensen, who will look to clip it early over the top. But again, the quality of the pass from Reece James, who is the outlet down that right-hand side. Quality wasn't there from Christensen, and Thomas Tuchel out on the edge of his technical area, asking one or two questions of his players. Perhaps sensing that Porto are settling the better into this game. Marquezine stands with the ball at his feet in no hurry to distribute it. Waits for Timo Werner to close him down, picks it up, then puts it back down again. And eventually he will clip the ball out towards the right-hand side, where Marega battling away with Chilwell, but couldn't quite get it under control. Ball goes out for a Chelsea throw. Marega actually indicating to the assistant referee that he was being held by Ben Chilwell, but not spotted by the officials as Chilwell takes the resulting throw in. It's a searching throw down the line, picked up by Mason Mount, looking to take on Pepe. Plays the ball towards the far post where Reece James is forward, but good claim by Marquezine, and James is out of the game now. Porto can break into the space he's vacated down their left-hand side. It's worked by Otavio, out to Luis Diaz. Steps away from James, who's now recovered his position. Sanusi for FC Porto. He goes all the way back to his goalkeeper. And they will look to build again from the back. Porto. Possession's probably just about evening itself out now in this game. 15 minutes on the clock. Marquezine will lift the ball forward, looking towards Luis Diaz. Azpilicueta has a free header. Diaz didn't challenge, but he tried to cushion it down for Reece James there, the Chelsea captain, and he got his angles wrong. It's gone out of play for a throw-in. A chance for Porto to keep the pressure on Chelsea in the Premier League side's defensive third. Sanusi is standing over the throw. It's a long throw from the Nigerian into the box, flicked on effectively. It might break to Marega. It was Uribe who flicked it on. In fact, no, it was Grujic who flicked it on. It breaks to Uribe on the edge of the area. Eventually, Chelsea can scramble it clear. Mbemba then misreads the flight of the ball. Again, I think the wind a factor. Eventually, Sanusi wins it back for Porto, and well, they're incensed that a free kick has been given. Referee Slavko Vincic of Slovenia. It was Otavio who's being penalised in the middle of the park. He seems to be the one playing just in behind Marega. Diaz and Corona floating behind, although it's quite a fluid formation from Porto with Uribe and Grujic just in the defensive midfield roles, but we've seen both of those central midfielders get forward from time to time as well. A good start from Porto. Marko Grujic in possession, on loan from Chelsea, the Serbian international. Looks it back to his goalkeeper. Marquezine will lift it forward. Christensen beats Otavio in the air. That's a bit of an aerial mismatch, but Otavio battling away in the middle of the park. And was he fouled there? Yes, he was, by Jorginho. Put himself about, Otavio. Causing Chelsea one or two problems. Wasn't much contact really from Jorginho. I think Otavio may have been looking for that foul, and he's got it inside the centre circle. Incidentally, it's still Bayern Munich 0, PSG 1 in the other Champions League quarter-final first leg tie being played this evening. This is a good play from Manafa down the right-hand side, although he stopped brilliantly in the end by Kovacic's challenge. Tony Rudiger now basically on his own byline, has to just lash the ball clear. Pepe will get his head to it, send it back from where it came. Jorginho now for Chelsea. Trying to add an element of control. He almost gifted the ball to Uribe. Just about had enough legs on it to find Mateo Kovacic. Now Christensen for Chelsea, carries it up towards the halfway line. Porto getting everyone back behind the ball. Fluid system when coming forward, but they do file back into position rather rigidly when they lose it. And Marega now trying to press Christensen. And the mistake has come this time from Azpilicueta. Grujic has it for Porto in the middle of the park. Let's say they're well drilled under their manager, Sergio Conceição. Former Portugal international, scored a hat-trick incidentally at Euro 2000 and a couple of spells playing for Porto. Most notably known for his time in Italy with the likes of Lazio and Inter during the noughties. Pepe now for Porto, who was a former teammate of his manager actually during his first spell at Porto. Reflects out play off Reece James. It's a throw-in, 20 minutes on the clock. Porto 0, Chelsea 0. Luis Diaz, lovely turn to get away from Mason Mount down the left-hand side. Links up with Sanusi. Support there from Jesus Corona as well. Diaz has gone down, and the referee, well, I think he was trying to play an advantage there, Slavko Vincic, but he has pulled it back and given the free kick the way of Porto. Decent refereeing. It's a set piece on the left-hand side in a crossing position. Foul was from Jorginho, and he was clearly late there on Luis Diaz. And a chance for the Portuguese side to put pressure on the Chelsea goal once again. Diaz has limped back to his feet. He's taking a place on the edge of the area. Chelsea trying to hold the line on the 18-yard box. On the edge of the 18-yard box, I should say. Otavio will take this free kick for Porto. Similar position on the other side of the pitch. He rather wasted it by going short. I don't think Pepe and the likes will allow that to happen again. And indeed, Otavio lifts it into the box, and I think it flicked off the head of Pepe last. No, the referee says it came off a Chelsea player. Tony Rudiger, perhaps. It'll be a corner to Porto. I think it flicked off Rudiger and then perhaps hit Ben Chilwell behind him as well. Either way, Porto corner kick. Otavio is making his way over from the left-hand side to the right to take this set piece. Mbemba, Pepe will stay forward. Sanusi, the left-back, tall figure in there. Grujic, an option as well. They're a big team, Porto. Otavio sends the corner into the box. It's flicked on by Pepe. Two Chelsea players go for the same ball. It will break for Sanusi on the left-hand side, who settles for the throw-in. As we've already seen, he does have a long throw, the Nigerian. Chelsea will need to be aware of that. He's gone short, though, on this occasion. Looking to link up with Jesus Corona, who claims he should have a corner. And, yep, last touch adjudged to have come off Reece James. Porto can keep the pressure up. And again, it will be Otavio to trot across and take this set piece. Can Porto make their pressure pay? Porto 0, Chelsea 0. Jesus Corona's there as a short option, incidentally, if Otavio chooses to use him. Referee just delaying the taking of this corner, as he has a word with the players in the box. Eventually it is taken short and they work it. Otavio flicks it over the head of the defender. It comes to Corona again. Pepe gets a shot away. It will be another corner. They worked it short, Porto. Otavio into Corona. That invited Mason Mount to come and close him down. Corona spun, and Otavio flicked the ball over to the Mexican. And in the end, Pepe's shot was scrambled behind for another corner. Clever from Porto. No sign of the short corner on this occasion. Ottavio will go for a more regulation delivery. In fact, he's gone for goal. Mendy makes the save, and it's fired over in the end by Sanusi on the volley. Mendy was completely caught out there. I think he's even going for goal, you know, Ottavio, and it's definitely going in. Mendy just about scrambles it away on his goal line, and then the follow-up effort from Sanusi was over. The pressure is quelled for the time being, but Chelsea at the moment well and truly on the back foot. Still goalless at the Ramon Sanchez Pizjuan between Porto and Chelsea, but the Portuguese side are dominating at the moment and looking really good, it has to be said. Mathias Uribe's had a brilliant effort from the edge of the area on the volley, hit the roof of Edouard Mendy's net when the goalkeeper was beaten, all ends up. Ottavio has then tried to beat the goalkeeper directly from a corner that had him scrambling, and from the follow-up, Zaidu Sanusi fired over. Chelsea haven't created much in the last 10-15 minutes or so. As I say, they're on the back foot, but it does remain goalless. Chelsea have now gone at the other end and forced a corner of their own. Reece James standing over it. Wants to deliver into the box towards the far post. It's headed away by Grujic. And there could be a counter-attack on now, led by Luis Diaz, but he showed too much of that to Jorginho, who's able to put the challenge in. Chelsea tidy up by going all the way back to Edouard Mendy, who's certainly been the busier of the two goalkeepers so far in this game. Porto 0, Chelsea 0 it remains, however. In this quarter-final, Champions League quarter-final last 16 tie. As I say, it's still Bayern 0, Porto 1, Bayern 1, PSG. Bayern 0, PSG 1, sorry, I'll get that right. Kylian Mbappe's early goal for the Parisians, currently the difference between the two sides in that one. Remember, the winner of this tie will go on to play Real Madrid or Liverpool in the semi-finals. Real having beat the Reds 3-1 in last night's first leg in Madrid. Porto 0. Chelsea 0 it remains in this game. That chance actually from the corner where Ottavio went directly for goal. It is a decent opportunity for Zaidu Sanusi after that. He just couldn't quite keep his left foot volley down. Perhaps if it had been a centre forward rather than a left back with that chance, it could well have been 1-0 to Porto by now. Although he was under pressure, Sanusi, it was by no means an easy opportunity. Andreas Christensen's penalised, free kick given, taken quickly by Ottavio, and not for the first time the referee not happy with how quickly Porto are trying to get on with those set pieces, and he will bring it back. They'll have to reset on the halfway line. Mbemba it is who will take the set piece sideways to Pepe, but that's a rather aimless ball over the top from him. Porto skipper offers a hand of apology. Chelsea will now look to bring the ball forward from the back themselves with Andreas Christensen, the central of the three defenders this evening. Rudiger to his left, now in possession, and Azpilicueta to his right. Andreas Christensen once more, rather tentatively bringing the ball forward. Looking for some options, he goes sideways to Azpilicueta. James now hooks it forward. It almost turns into a searching ball for Timo Werner, who's barely had a kick in these opening 27 minutes, and he doesn't get one there. Chancel Mbemba is able to hook it clear. It'll be a throw into Chelsea just about on the halfway line. Not sure if Werner would have been onside anyway. Like he was maybe gone a yard early. In fact, the referee's assistant raised his flag, so I think the offside has been given rather than the throw-in. Yes, indeed, a free kick which Pepe stands over. He'll clip out towards the left-hand side where Sanusi, I mentioned, is a tall figure. Challenges in the air with Reece James. James beats him to the ball, nods it out for a throw and takes a little bit of a whack for his troubles. Yeah, a little bit of a slight collision of heads. I think James is okay. Referee just checking on his well-being before allowing Zaidu Sanusi to get on with his throw. He feeds it into Mariga, who lays it off to Ottavio. He couldn't quite control. Chelsea clear as far as Mbemba, who's looking to break forward Mbemba, and he links up with Ottavio into the penalty area. He just couldn't quite sort his feet out there, Ottavio. He puts his hands on his head because he knows it was a chance. He's saying there to his teammates he was trying to get his feet sorted out so he could get a cross in. Chelsea have cleared it out for a throw-in over on Porto's right. Manafa takes it again into the feet of Marega, who waits for the touch from Jorginho and settles for the corner. The last corner, Otavio went directly for goal. I think as a right-footed player from this right-hand side, he'll probably not be able to do that this time around. Not a real effect on this game, though, the number 25 for Porto. As he goes short to Jesus Corona, who he almost turned away from Mason Mount, who actually did a good job in the end of pinching it back and then winning the free kick for his side. It was clever, though, from Corona, and between him and Otavio, they do have a decent array of set pieces up their sleeve. PSG, incidentally, have gone 2-0 up at the Allianz Arena against Bayern Munich. Really brilliant start for Mauricio Pochettino's side. Marquinhos has got the second goal to add to Kylian Mbappe's early strike. The defending champions with a lot of work to do, it would seem. Chelsea looking to get a foothold in this game, but Mount fouled his man Pepe. Referee playing an advantage because Porto have the ball, but it's a poor pass from Otavio. In steps the toe there of Reece James to divert it out of play for a throw-in, which is taken by Sanusi. As Piliqueta can intercept the ball down the line. Kovacic now stepping away from the challenge of Uribe and works out to the left-hand side with Ben Chilwell. Haven't seen him get forward much in this first half. Christensen now for Chelsea, looking out towards James, who has been allowed to gallivant at times down the right. Flicks it in from him to Werner, who returns it out to the England international. Now Andreas Christensen to Jorginho. Back with Christensen again. He finds Kovacic. He feeds a nice ball out to the right-hand side where Mason Mount trying to take on Sanusi, who slides in with the challenge. It's a good one. James will keep the ball in play. I don't think he was sure whether it was going to be a corner or a goal kick, so did the right thing. It keeps the attack alive from a Chelsea point of view. Jorginho back into the feet of Christensen and across to the left with Rudiger. This is a better period of possession for Chelsea, similar to what we saw in the opening 10 minutes. As Piliqueta out to James, delivers a cross into the box, cleared away by Pepe at the front post. It'll be a throw-in to Chelsea. James takes, he goes back towards Jorginho. Now Kovacic, 40 yards from goal, keeps it moving to Rudiger, now out on the left with Ben Chilwell. Only Rudiger once more. Kovacic, some movement in front of him. Porto got everyone back behind the ball once again, really making it difficult for Chelsea to find a way through. Havertz into Chilwell, back with Kovacic again. Chelsea probing. Cesar Azpilicueta driving forward. He's again got Reece James as an outlet down the right-hand side. James tees up Jorginho, who flings the ball towards the far post. It's too far for Chilwell initially, but he will gather on the far side. Finds Havertz. Porto, I think, stopped there slightly. Maybe expecting an offside flag. It hasn't come. Chelsea haven't been able to exploit that moment of hesitation from the designated home side this evening. Oh, that's a lovely turn from Havertz into the penalty area. Oh, it's drilled into the back of the net by Mason Mount. It's a brilliant Chelsea goal. They have an away goal in this tie. It's technically on neutral territory, but Chelsea the away side this evening. The ball played into the feet of Mason Mount, who turns superbly into the penalty area before drilling the ball right-footed into the corner of the net. He's a man in form for both club and country at the moment. Jorginho it is with the little ball around the corner. Sanusi rather overcommits himself, the left back, doesn't cover himself in glory, and he is punished in superb fashion by Mason Mount. Big goal list for Chelsea. The deadlock broken at the Ramon Sanchez Pizjuan. It's Porto 0, Chelsea 1. Mason Mount, the scorer for Thomas Tuchel's side. They've been on the back foot for the best part of 20 minutes, but Mount with a moment of brilliance. The ball rolled into his feet by Jorginho. Sanusi, the left back, overcommits himself, dives in. Mount turns brilliantly away from him. He's still got a lot to do on the angle, but he drills it right-footed into the corner of the net beyond Marquezin in the Porto goal. It's his first strike in the Champions League this season. He's a man in form, and Chelsea have a crucial away goal. It's Porto 0, Chelsea 1. Yeah, brilliantly taken by Mason Mount. As I say, rather against the run of play, it has to be said. Sanusi overcommitted himself to the fullback. He has dived in a little bit in this game so far. Sometimes he's got away with it, sometimes it's made it look like a good challenge, but you did wonder, even at that stage, maybe there's a mistake in him. And he was too gun-ho on that occasion, and it's been exploited by one of the form players for Chelsea over recent months, Mason Mount. Had a great international break, didn't he, with England as well. He's given Chelsea the lead this evening. To say, against the run of play, really, but that might really spring Chelsea into life now as Reece James puts another dangerous ball into the box. Again, the pressing from Chelsea coming down their right-hand flank. Sanusi will now look to bring it forward. He claims he was fouled by Reece James. Didn't look much in it, but the referee has sided with the Porto man. Zaidu Sanusi, as I say, a Nigerian international, on his first cap last year, joined from Santa Clara at the start of this season. Spent all his career really to date in Portugal, I should say. There's an offside flag there raised against Musa Marega. Chelsea worked the free kick to Antonio Rudiger. Now Chilwell down the left-hand side, clipping the ball up towards Timo Werner, who challenges with Manafa. Either player gets on the ball and Mbemba can sweep up for Porto. Goes back towards Marquezin, who puts his foot through the ball, but no one challenging Christensen. Space and time to control for the Dane. Now James on the right-hand side. Chelsea's so good, usually at protecting leads. They were 1-0 up, of course, against West Brom at the weekend, and everything just unravelled, but that was because of, or certainly partly because of, Thiago Silva's sending off. 11 against 11. You'd fancy them to really try and wear Porto down, bide their opportunity, not allow too many chances in behind us. Again, Zanussi's dived in, Mount's rolled away from him, and it's taken Pepe to come across on this occasion to put the challenge in, using his experience there. But Chelsea down this right flank with Mount and James working in tandem are causing Porto a lot of problems. In fairness to Sanusi, he's not getting much support from the players behind him, whether that's Jesus Corona or Luis Diaz. They're interchanging. As now Chelsea look to come down the other side, but Rudiger's ball for Chilwell is slightly overhit. But it is a problem because Sanusi is being left outnumbered at times. When he dives in, it's never mind outnumbered. There's no one there for Porto, unless Pepe or Mbemba come across, and then that leaves them really exposed in the middle. So it's a conundrum for Sergio Conceição and his side, but Chelsea are at the moment happy to reap the rewards. As Marquezin sends the goal kick forward for Porto, flicked on by Grujic. Will break though to Chilwell on the left-hand side for Chelsea. Now Mateo Kovacic pressed, and he's almost run into trouble there. There's a couple of bites. Uribe nearly got it, as did Diaz. Chelsea are able to clear. Havertz beats Pepe in the air. There's an offside flag up, I think, in amongst that. And in fact, Sanusi's gone down as well, just clutching his face. Mason Mount maybe just caught him slightly there. Yeah, slight high boot, I think. He didn't catch him in the face, though. I'm not sure why Sanusi was grabbing his face. Caused him at the very most in his stomach. Either way, the fullback's back on his feet, and Porto have the free kick, which Pepe is standing over. He goes short to Mbemba. He was relegated during his time in England with Newcastle, but he's got the lovely ball out to Sanusi on the left-hand side, but he lets the ball run underneath his feet there. He goes out to play for a throw. Porto 0, Chelsea 1. We're bringing you independent off-tube studio commentary of this Champions League quarter-final first leg tie. Bayern Munich, incidentally, in the other game that's taking place this evening in this competition, have pulled a goal back. Eric Maxim Choupo-Moting against his former club has made it Bayern 1, PSG 2. That game is also available on this service, incidentally, as we tick into the latter stages of the first halves in both these quarter-final first leg ties. Chelsea, thanks to Mason Mount's first Champions League goal of the season, are ahead in this one at the Ramon Sanchez Pizjuan in Seville, being played on neutral territory this first leg, as is the second leg at the same venue. But importantly for Chelsea this evening is they are the away side technically tonight, so that goal from Mount counts double, if you like. That means Porto's task is all the more difficult at the moment. The Portuguese side in possession with their goalkeeper Agustin Marquezin. As I say, he's an Argentine international. He's won 7 caps, the goalkeeper. He made his debut a decade ago, with 3 of his 7 appearances coming in 2019. Chancellor member now for Porto goes back to his goalkeeper once again, and Marquezin will carry the ball out of his penalty area. Real closing down from Chelsea. Token effort from Timo Werner. Marquezin will clip the ball forward. It's over the head of the intended target that was Moussa Marega. He's putting pressure on Ben Chilwell. Surely fouled the Chelsea left back there, but the referee not interested. I think it was that late he'd turned away from it and was following the ball there, Slavko Vincic. The assistant referee was clearly watching that. Porto can play on now down the right hand side. This would be controversial if he could get a goal. Corona into Otavio. Those two combining nicely again. Otavio's dug out a cross. It's too high for Diaz. Sanusi will keep it alive down the left. He skips away from James. Draws a dangerous ball into the box. Cleared away by Jorginho. Mbemba will pick it up for Porto on the halfway line. Feeds it into the feet of Uribe. Fizzes it out to Diaz, who controls well. Marega wants the ball played down the channel. He's ignored for the time being by his teammate. Instead it goes into Grujic. Now out to Sanusi. Digs out across towards the edge of the area. Feet from Corona were good, but then he loses possession. Quickly won back though by the tenacious Mbemba. Pepe will work out to Manafa, and this is Porto back on the front foot. Uribe out towards the left-hand side. Diaz was the intended target. James cuts it out. Mount's clearance though is rather up into the air rather than forward. Picked up by Otavio, who was fouled there by the trailing leg of Kai Havertz. And that would be a painful one for Otavio, because I think he was slipping as he was fouled, so his standing leg was slipping one way. Havertz took the other leg the other. He might have just jarred something in his groin or even potentially his knee. It's an innocuous challenge from Havertz, but certainly could have done some damage to Otavio, and this would be a blow to Porto, because number 25 has been one of their bright sparks. He takes all their set pieces as well. So we'll be hoping he's just slightly overstretched and he can run that off, and he's not actually pulled something. Does look like he's back on his feet. Yeah, in fact, he is going to stand over this free kick, so there can't, you would suspect, be any real damage done there. He's one of 2 players standing over the free kick, and in fact Sanusi is now running into the penalty area, so it will be Otavio, right-footed, left of centre, dinks the ball into the box. It's headed clear by Havertz, comes to the edge of the area. Corona volleys it towards goal. It's blocked behind by Azpilicueta for another Porto corner. 3 minutes plus stoppage time to play at the end of the first half. It needed blocking that as well from Cesar Azpilicueta, because it was heading towards Edouard Mendy's bottom left-hand corner. Very dangerous player, Jesus Corona, the Mexican international, featured in their recent friendly defeat against Wales. Otavio lifts the corner to the box. Pepe heads towards goal and forces Mendy into a save. He's had to turn it behind. For another corner there, Edouard Mendy. Good header from Pepe. It's a save you'd expect the goalkeeper to make, but he had to be in the right position, and Edouard Mendy was. Otavio lifts another ball into the box, flicked on by Uribe. This time it's routine for Mendy to collect. They are a threat from set pieces though, Porto. Chelsea with this 1-goal advantage. I'd probably say, based on the chances anyway, they have had more of the ball, Chelsea, but on chances, it's a lead that flatters them at the moment. Porto unlucky not to be on the score sheet, you would say. The ball is with their goalkeeper Marquezin. Out to Pepe. As I mentioned earlier, he's the oldest outfield player, Pepe, to feature in the quarterfinals of the Champions League since Ryan Giggs did so for Manchester United back in 2014. Giggs was 40 at that time. He's still got some way to go to match that record. Pepe, who's jostling with Kai Havertz, but the German has been penalised with a free kick to Porto. In fact, I think it was Azpilicueta in the previous aerial duel with Luis Diaz who's actually conceded the free kick. Diaz now has the ball at his feet. He's switching the play out to the right hand side where there's space for Wilson Manafa to bring the ball forward. He links up with Corona. Otavio takes over. Doesn't quite go out on that far side. Manafa plays it into Corona. Back to Grujic. Manafa once more. Fix it into Otavio, who can cross. Headed clear by Azpilicueta. Pepe nods it back forward for Porto. Sanusi looking to turn away from Reece James. James stands his ground well though and puts in a good challenge. Seems to be having the better of that duel at the moment. The Chelsea right back, right wing back as he is this evening. Porto are coming forward again into the final 30 seconds of the opening 45. Stoppage time will be to come. Should Slavko Vincic opt to add anything on. There's a nice turn there by Uribe onto the edge of the area. Uribe, can he get a shot away? He's trying. It's deflected off Rudiger and behind for yet another Porto corner. Matthias Uribe already has proven his ability to strike from range in this game, so it was an important block from Rudiger. This could be Porto's last chance of the first half as we tick into additional time. Otavio's corner into the box, headed down by Grujic, but straight down the throat of Mendy once again, and that will be the end of an entertaining and open first half at the Ramon Sanchez Pizjuan. Porto probably having the better of it, but it's Chelsea that lead at the break thanks to a lovely goal from Mason Mount, his first strike in the Champions League this season. So at half-time, in this Champions League quarter-final first leg tie, it's Porto 0, Chelsea 1. At the break, it's Porto 0, Chelsea 1. The only goal of the half coming on 32 minutes. Jorginho rolled the ball into the feet of Mason Mount, who turned away from Zaidu Sanusi with ease. Sanusi dived into the challenge, didn't get there. Mount, it was brilliant, and he did the rest, firing into the bottom corner of the net. However, despite leading, Chelsea have actually been on the back foot for most of this first half. Porto have had a couple of opportunities. Uribe's hit the roof of the net. Otavio's come close from a corner, and Sanusi came close with the follow-up. Porto 0, Chelsea 1 at the break. The only goal of the first half coming on 32 minutes. Mason Mount with a lovely turn away from Zaidu Sanusi in the area, and he finished nicely right-footed into the bottom left-hand corner. Despite leading though, Chelsea have largely been on the back foot. Porto have certainly had the better chances. Uribe's came close from long range. Otavio almost beat Edouard Mendy straight from a corner, and from the resulting save, Zaidu Sanusi fired over from close range. It's Porto 0, Chelsea 1. Porto 0, Chelsea 1 at the break. The only goal of the first half coming on 32 minutes. Mason Mount with a lovely turn away from Zaidu Sanusi in the area, and he finished nicely right-footed into the bottom left-hand corner. Despite leading though, Chelsea have largely been on the back foot. Porto have certainly had the better chances. Uribe's came close from long range. Otavio almost beat Edouard Mendy straight from a corner, and from the resulting save, Zaidu Sanusi fired over from close range. It's Porto 0, Chelsea 1. Porto 0, Chelsea 1 at the break. The only goal of the first half coming on 32 minutes. Mason Mount with a lovely turn away from Zaidu Sanusi in the area, and he finished nicely right-footed into the bottom left-hand corner. Despite leading though, Chelsea have largely been on the back foot. Porto have certainly had the better chances. Uribe's came close from long range. Otavio almost beat Edouard Mendy straight from a corner, and from the resulting save, Zaidu Sanusi fired over from close range. It's Porto 0, Chelsea 1. Porto 0, Chelsea 1 at nicely right-footed into the bottom left-hand corner. Despite leading though, Chelsea have largely been on the back foot. Porto have certainly had the better chances. Arribes came close from long range. Otavio almost beat Edouard Mendy straight from a corner, and from the resulting save, Zaidu Sanusi fired over from close range. It's Porto 0, Chelsea 1. Porto 0, Chelsea 1 at the break. The only goal of the first half coming on 32 minutes. Mason Mount with a lovely turn away from Zaidu Sanusi in the area, and he finished nicely right-footed into the bottom left-hand corner. Despite close range, it's break. The only goal of the first half coming on 32 minutes. Mason Mount with a lovely turn away from Zaidu Sanusi in the area, and he finished nicely right-footed into the bottom left-hand corner. Despite leading though, Chelsea have largely been on the back foot. Porto have certainly had the better chances. Arribes came close from long range. Otavio almost beat Edouard Mendy straight from a corner, and from the resulting save, Zaidu Sanusi fired over from close range. It's Porto 0, Chelsea 1. Porto 0, Chelsea 1 at the break. The only goal of the first half coming on 32 minutes. Mason Mount with a lovely turn away from Zaidu.
Car. Whether it's a year old or a few years old, we want to buy your car. So go to Carvana and enter your license plate, answer a few questions, and our techno wizardry calculates your car's value and gives you a real offer in seconds. When you're ready, we'll come to you, pay you on the spot, and pick up your car. That's it. So ditch the old way of selling your car and say hello to the new way at Carvana.
limited time, get a 5th cartridge free.
Tree. It seems he lost control trying to take the bend on the road in the outskirts of Los Angeles, and when he tried to brake he accidentally hit the accelerator instead of the brake. There's been no analysis of Woods' mobile phone nor a blood analysis, and Woods is not going to face charges. He has issued a statement thanking the emergency services and the good Samaritans, as he called them, who alerted those emergency services. He expressed gratitude also for the ongoing support that he's receiving from friends and from fans at what he calls a very difficult time.
So let's turn our attention to this year's tournament. It's only 5 months since Dustin Johnson was crowned champion. What are you expecting this week?
I think it's going to be a but I don't see the winning score getting anywhere near that. I think it's going to be much nearer, say, the 10 under par mark.
Let's hear from Lee Westwood, who is now nearly 48 and is enjoying another career renaissance, 2 runners-up spots recently. He would be the oldest ever Masters champion if he were to win this week.
You know, I love playing golf, and, you know, all the practices to get into contention, and it just is validation, really, that I'm still good enough at my age to be out here and contending and, you know, having a chance to win, really, and getting myself into contention. I maybe don't play as well as often anymore, but when I do play well, I tend to contend. And, you know, with the work I've done on the mental side of the game, you know, I feel a lot more comfortable. I heard Jordan Spieth say something last week about he feels comfortable under pressure again, and he's enjoying being under pressure, and he can cope with it. And
Chelsea 1. Porto 0, Chelsea 1 at the break. The only goal of the first half coming on 32 minutes. Mason Mount with a lovely turn away from Zaidu Sanusi in the area, and he finished nicely right-footed into the bottom left-hand corner. Despite leading, though, Chelsea have largely been on the back foot. Porto have certainly had the better chances. Arribas came close from long range. Otavio almost beat Eduard Mendy straight from a corner, and from the resulting save, Zaidu Sanusi fired over from close range. It's Porto 0, Chelsea 1. Porto 0, Chelsea 1 at the break. The only goal of the first half coming on 32 minutes. Mason Mount with a lovely turn away from Zaidu Sanusi in the area, and he finished nicely right-footed into the bottom left-hand corner. Despite leading, though, Chelsea have largely been on the back foot. Porto have certainly had the better chances. Arribas came close from long range. Otavio almost beat Eduard Mendy straight from a corner, and from the resulting save, Zaidu Sanusi fired over from close range. It's Porto 0, Chelsea 1. Porto 0, Chelsea 1 at the break. The only goal of the first half coming on 32 minutes. Mason Mount with a lovely turn away from Zaidu Sanusi in the area, and he finished nicely right-footed into the bottom left-hand corner. Despite leading though, Chelsea have largely been on the back foot. Porto have certainly had the better chances. Arribes came close from long range. Otavio almost beat Edouard Mendy straight from a corner, and from the resulting save, Zaidu Sanusi fired over from close range. It's Porto 0, Chelsea 1. Porto 0, Chelsea 1 at the break. The only goal of the first half coming on 32 minutes. Mason Mount with a lovely turn away from Zaidu Sanusi in the area, and he finished nicely right-footed into the bottom left-hand corner. Despite leading though, Chelsea have largely been on the back foot. Porto have certainly had the better chances. Arribes came close from long range. Otavio almost beat Edouard Mendy straight from a corner, and from the resulting save, Zaidu Sanusi fired over from close range. It's Porto 0, Chelsea 1. Porto 0, Chelsea 1 at the break. The only goal of the first half coming on 32 minutes. Mason Mount with a lovely turn away from Zaidu Sanusi in the area, and he finished nicely right-footed into the bottom left-hand corner. Despite leading though, Chelsea have largely been on the back foot. Porto have certainly had the better chances. Arribes came close from long range. Otavio almost beat Edouard Mendy straight from a corner, and from the resulting save, Zaidu Sanusi fired over from close range. It's Porto 0, Chelsea 1. Porto 0, Chelsea 1 at the break. The only goal of the first half coming on 32 minutes. Mason Mount with a lovely turn away from Zaidu Sanusi in the area, and he finished nicely right-footed into the bottom left-hand corner. Despite leading though, Chelsea have largely been on the back foot. Porto have certainly had the better chances. Arribes came close from long range. Otavio almost beat Edouard Mendy straight from a corner, and from the resulting save, Zaidu Sanusi fired over from close range. It's Porto 0, Chelsea 1. And it's a very warm welcome back to our independent off-tube studio commentary of this Champions League quarter-final first leg tie taking place at the Ramon Sanchez Pizjuan in Seville. As you were just hearing, it's Porto 0, Chelsea 1 heading into this second half. Mason Mount with a superb right foot strike on 32 minutes, separating the two sides as Porto get the second period underway. No changes to the respective starting 11, so it's as you were with the two teams. Porto going from left to right in this second period in their traditional blue and white colours. Chelsea in their changed pink strip this evening. I'm Tom McGarry, and I'll be talking you through the rest of this evening's coverage. I'll quickly run you through the two 11s. Marquisans in goal for Porto. Manafa, Mbemba, Pepe and Sanusi make up the back four. Corona, Grujic, Uribe, Otavio and Diaz in the midfield. Very fluid midfield as well when Porto come forward, with Musa and Rega playing up front. For Chelsea, Mendy's in goal. That's Piliqueta, Christensen and Rudiger at the back three. James and Chilwell, the wing-backs, with Jorginho and Kovacic sitting in the middle of the park. And then goalscorer Mount and Timo Werner supporting Kai Havertz through the middle. Werner in particular had a quiet opening 45 minutes. Chelsea in possession at the start of this second half. They did boss the first period in terms of possession, but it was actually Porto who had the better opportunities besides from the goal. Kovacic bringing this ball forward now for Chelsea. He's carried it a long way. Found his Mount on the right hand side. His cross is in towards Werner, and it was a free header for Timo Werner inside the opening 90 seconds of this second period. Mount's cross. Werner was trying to hang it in the air. I think he was on the way down as he made contact with his header, which meant he got underneath it and it flew over the top of the crossbar. He rather mistimed his jump there, Timo Werner, you have to say. And that was a glorious opportunity to put Chelsea 2-0 up on the night, give them two crucial away goals as well. He's struggled, hasn't he, since joining Chelsea from RB Leipzig, Timo Werner. Hasn't scored as many goals as I'm sure he would like. Just couldn't quite divert that effort on target. But signs of encouragement at the start of this second half for Chelsea. That's probably the best chance they've created other than the goal. They're throwing down the left-hand flank now that Chilwell takes back towards Rudiger. Now Christensen to Kovacic on the halfway line. The Croatian gets it back off Jorginho. Porto press Chelsea all the way back to the goalkeeper Mendy. Rudiger now. As I mentioned at the start of the first half, he was reportedly involved in that bust-up with Kepa Arrizabalaga in training for Chelsea on Sunday, the day after their 5-2 defeat to West Brom in the Premier League. In the starting lineup this evening. Incidentally, in terms of Kepa, he is amongst the substitutes as well tonight. There's a foul on Sanusi, so free kick to Porto. 3 minutes into the second half. Reece James, the judge, guilty party. I don't think he did an awful lot wrong there, other than just be stronger than Zaidu Sanusi. Free kick to Porto nonetheless. And a chance for them to lift the ball forward. Marquezin, the goalkeeper, does so. He sends it out towards Marega, who is such a strong physical forward, and he wins his aerial duel there, but can't find a teammate with his knockdown. Rudiger has it for Chelsea. Coming the ball forwards and then just rolls it inside towards Andreas Christensen. Incidentally, the second half just getting underway in the other Champions League last 16 tie this evening between Bayern Munich and PSG. PSG leading 2-1 heading into the second half. 2 away goals for Mauricio Pochettino's side. So both away teams winning at the moment. Last night, Manchester City beat Borussia Dortmund by 2-1 at the Etihad, and Real Madrid beat Liverpool 3-1 at the Alfredo Di Stefano Stadium. The winner of that tie plays the winner of this one in the semi-finals. As Tavio works the ball out to Sanusi on the left-hand side for Porto. Now, Luis Diaz. Back to Sanusi once again, who's supported by Uribe. Tavio, who's probably been Porto's most influential player so far, looking to switch the ball out to Jesus Corona, who controls. Will need the support you would suspect of Manafa. He's trying to do it all himself at the moment. Oh, he's stepped inside Chilwell and Werner really nicely there, Corona. I think he went down a little easily looking for the free kick. Whether he was going to get on the end of the ball, I'm not sure. Chilwell did have his right arm across him, so I think the referee has. No, he hasn't given the free kick, actually, Slavko Vincic of Slovenia. Corona went down easily and was perhaps looking for it, but there was contact from Chilwell on the winger. Also have possession again with Manafa. Almost took a heavy touch there as the last man, which might have allowed Kai Havertz to nip in. And Bemba wasn't happy with the aerial challenge initially on him from Havertz, and he actually indicated to the referee that he needs to show a card to Kai Havertz. The referee didn't even give a free kick as the ball forward. That's a great ball in behind to Marega. Chance for Porto. Moussa Marega saved by Edouard Mendy. The angle was against the striker. Lovely ball from Manafa in behind Antonio Rudiger, who was appealing for offside. He wasn't, Marega. As I say, he's trying to fire that low, and Edouard Mendy gets his right leg to it to make the save. Manafa's ball was perfect. Marega's effort saved. The resulting corner into it was the far post. Sanusi can't make contact with the volley. Porto will have to go again from a deeper position. Manafa out to Sanusi, who crosses, takes a deflection. Cleared away at the front post by Christensen. Werner fails to control though for Chelsea. Diaz has it in the middle of the park for FC Porto. Lively start to this second half for both teams. Pepe with a long angled switch will be cut out though comfortably by Chilwell. Although now it will reach the intended target, Jesus Corona, who links up with Manafa down the right hand side. Marega getting involved as well. Chelsea just about scramble it clear. At least the relative safety of out for a throw-in, which Porto have taken quickly. Corona, lovely drop of the shoulder. Tries to release the ball into the penalty area. Down goes Luis Diaz, but it's good strong defending from Azpilicueta, who claims goal kick. And he gets the decision. There's a half-hearted appeal from Diaz towards the referee, but he was never going to get a penalty in that situation. Lively start to the second half. Still Porto 0, Chelsea 1. Both sides, though, have had chances. First of all, for Chelsea, Mason Mount's cross from the right-hand side. Timo Werner, free header, 7 yards out, but he seems to mistime his jump. He's on the downward as he makes contact with the ball, and it flies over the top of the crossbar. At the other end, lovely weighted ball from Wilson Manafa, the right back for Porto. In behind for Moussa Marega. The angle's tight for him. He's in behind, as I say, the Chelsea defence, but he can't find a way past the legs of Edouard Mendy in the Chelsea goal. Good start to the second half, though. Entertaining stuff. And it remains Porto 0, Chelsea 1. Yeah, it does feel like there's at least another goal in this tie. Depending on which way it goes, could have huge ramifications on the actual outcome of the tie as well. 2-0 lead for Chelsea in their away leg would be fantastic, but if Porto get back to 1-1, it would really tighten things up heading into that second leg. Chelsea are forced to a corner, incidentally. Pepe felt he was fouled by Mason Mount, but the referee, between him and his assistant, have given the corner the way of the Blues. And the likes of Rudiger, Christensen, Azpilicueta making their way forward from the back. What's the delivery going to be like from Reece James? Usually good, but he's taking it too quickly there for the referee's liking, who wants to have a word with, I think, Pepe, Azpilicueta as well. It might be the two captains that the referee's bringing across for a conversation. Azpilicueta and Sanusi it was who were holding on to each other. Nothing much in it, certainly nothing more than you would normally see in those kind of situations. Referee's had his word though. James will deliver once again, headed clear by Marega. Back doing his defensive work there, the Porto striker. Kovacic helps it back forward for Chelsea in rather unassuming fashion. Scrap for the ball over on the left, which Grujic for Porto comes out on top, and that's a lovely drive forward from Marco Grujic, on loan Liverpool midfielder. Works it out to Corona. Now at the feet of Otavio, who will look over the top. There's a run, it's from Luis Diaz, and it's a good ball from Otavio. Diaz up against Reece James. James stands his ground though, puts in a strong challenge and wins the ball, but only at the expense of a Porto corner. James is defending well in this game. He's had to, because he's been up against some tricky customers in either Diaz, Corona or Otavio at times. A good source going forward as well for Chelsea, who've done most of their prominent attacking down their right hand side. Cross from Otavio from the corner. Pepe goes up with Mendy. It's into the air. The goalkeeper hasn't dealt with it. It's cleared off the line, but the referee has already penalised Porto with a free kick. Bemba can't believe it. The assistant had his flag raised. I wonder if there was an offside in and amongst that. The ball did end up in the back of the net, but long after the whistle had been blown by Slavko Vincic. Just having a look at the replay now. Lovely delivery from Otavio. Pepe beats Mendy in the air, and I think that's where Chancellor Mbemba's adjudged to be offside. He flicks the ball goalwards, cleared off the line by Chilwell. Pepe then puts it into the net. But I think that was the right decision in the end from the officials. Offside. And let off though for Chelsea, and Porto have had a lot of joy from set pieces in this match as they look to break forward. Mbemba striding out from the defence. It's a purposeful run. And he's still going, Chancellor Mbemba, edge of the area. Links up with Diaz, who shoots towards goal, and it's inches away from finding the bottom corner. Diaz beats the ground in frustration. It's a really, really good effort on his right foot. And Mbemba doing the groundwork. Diaz, I think he feels he's scored when he lets fly, catches it cleanly, curling it towards the corner. Maybe Mendy might have had it covered had it been on target. The goalkeeper looks like he's got his angles pretty well sorted out. But it's a lovely curling effort from Luis Diaz. Another chance for Porto in this game. Only Manchester City have prevented Porto scoring in this season's competition. That was a goalless draw at the Estadio Dragao back in the group stage. Juventus couldn't keep them out. Marseille haven't been able to keep them out. Olympiacos as well during the group stage. So they know where the back of the net is, the Portuguese side. In the midst of a title battle as well in Portugal. Although they are 8 points behind leaders Sporting Lisbon in second position. Chelsea, of course, down in fifth in the Premier League after their defeat to West Brom at the weekend. A point outside the top four. It's a strong run from Mateo Kovacic for the Premier League outfit. His pass through, though, is cut out by Mbemba. And Chilwell rather unceremoniously brings down Otavio. That'll be a free kick to Porto. 57.5 minutes on the clock. Just looking at Diaz's curling effort again. Brilliantly hit. Touch and go wherever Mendy would have been saving that. It would have been a top-class save had he got his fingertips to it. As his opposite number, Marquezin, sends the ball forward for Porto. Wrestling match between Marega and Rudiger. Both players appealing for the foul. Referee happy for play to go on. Marega back on his feet and biting at the heels of first Kovacic, then Christensen. Now Mendy as well. He's closing down Musa Marega. There's clearance upfield. Picks the way of Reece James. Jorginho now into Kovacic. Werner's dropped deep to get involved, and he turns and works his way out towards the left-hand side, supported by Chilwell. Werner, though, treads on the ball as he was seemingly trying to make his mind up about what pass to play. Manafa picks up the baton for Porto. Surrounded by 2 or 3 Chelsea players, though, and he loses out. Kovacic to Mount. Back it goes towards Azpilicueta. Mateo Kovacic once more. Chelsea moving the ball around. Kovacic will look to switch the play out to Reece James, who controls nicely on his chest. He's supported by Mason Mount. Mount's return ball, though, to James was one that enticed Sanusi into the challenge, and the defender's able to block the ball out to play for a throw-in, which James takes quickly. That's Azpilicueta. Goes back towards Christensen now. Kovacic sweeps it across to Rudiger, who might fancy a strike. He's 40 yards out. Rudiger hits a target. It's built by Marquezin. Werner squares the ball. Oh, and it's wide from Mason Mount. When it looked easier to... So it's Havertz. It looked easier to score there for Kai Havertz. A huge let-off for Marquezin in the goal. Rudiger's shot. Marquezin spills. Werner unselfishly squares. And under pressure, Kai Havertz from a combination of Mbemba and Pepe. Mainly Pepe. Can't score. There's claims maybe that Havertz was being fouled in and amongst that. We'll look at the replay now. Did Pepe foul Kai Havertz? No. Judges the referee. VAR's had a look as well. What an opportunity that was, though, for the German. Will Chelsea be made to rue that miss? Marquezin can breathe a huge sigh of relief in the Porto goal. He's relieved there is still only a 1-0 deficit his side face. Porto 0, Chelsea 1 it remains, but it really should be 2-0 to the Premier League side. Antonio Rudiger with a drive from fully 40 yards out that forced Marquezin in the Porto goal into the save. It was not a convincing save, though. He spilt it, the Argentine goalkeeper. It fell to Werner. The angle wasn't there for him to shoot, so he played it back across the 6-yard box towards Kai Havertz, who looked like he was going to tap the ball into an empty net, but under pressure from Pepe, he sent his effort wide of the target. So close to Chelsea making it 2-0. At the other end, Porto have come close thanks to a Luis Diaz curler, but it remains Porto 0, Chelsea 1. Yeah, 2 big moments there, 2 big chances for both sides. Chelsea are preparing a substitution, it would seem. It would be the first one for either side of the night. Christian Pulisic and Olivier Giroud. In fact, it's a double change. Just going through their last instructions as corner whipped in by Reece James for Chelsea. Dealt with at the front post comfortably enough for Porto. 61.5 minutes on the clock. Porto 0, Chelsea 1 in the first leg of this Champions League quarter-final first leg tie. And the other quarter-final taking place this evening is Bayern Munich 1, PSG 2, as it was at the half-time break at the Allianz Arena. Those 2 Chelsea substitutes still await an opportunity to go on as Chilwell's gone down and referee's going to go to his pocket there. Chancellor Mbemba penalised. He claims there wasn't any contact at all, but he's picked up a yellow card. It's the first booking of the game. It was a rather rash swipe from Mbemba, you would say. Not sure quite how much contact he made with Chilwell, but that might have been because Chilwell was having to jump out of the way. Yeah, I think that was the case. He gets to the ball first, Chilwell. Might have just got caught slightly on the shin, but it's a wild swipe from Chancellor Mbemba. A wry smile on his face as he makes his way back into the penalty area. This free kick just over on the left-hand side. Great angle for either Reece James with the right foot to send an in-swinger in, or be an outswinger with Ben Chilwell's left. They might work it short between them as well. Well, it is an ideal crossing position. James it is who does take it. It's a dangerous ball in towards the front post. It's another chance. This time it's Azpilicueta who heads wide at the front post. Great ball in from James. He's at full stretch, but I feel like if he makes the contact he does on Azpilicueta, he's going to score. But if anything, it was too good a contact, and he sends it wide of the target. Another opportunity in this second half for Chelsea. Both sides, in fact, creating chances. Will they be made to rue missing them, as Chelsea will have some defending to do. Porto in possession. Grujic on the halfway line. Back to Mbemba. Down the line it goes to Manafa. Mbemba again. Chelsea press Porto all the way back to their goalkeeper Marquezine. His clearance isn't the best. The bouncing ball was one that Kovacic couldn't control. It goes out for a throw-in. And that will spell the double change for Chelsea. Timo Werner is the first player to come off. Pulisic coming on for him. Hasn't quite been Werner's night. Pulisic is on, and Kai Havertz again missed that great opportunity a few minutes ago. He's going to be replaced, and Olivier Giroud, a more natural centre forward, coming on. Really effective in both penalty areas. That might be in the mind of Thomas Tuchel, seeing as Porto have had plenty of joy from attacking set pieces in this game without actually scoring. It is still Porto 0, Chelsea 1. It's 2-2 now in the other game in the Champions League this evening. Bayern have come back from 2-0 down to level things up. There's a free kick, I think, goes the way of Chelsea. There's a delay. This is a Porto player. I'm not sure if Reece James has actually been penalised at the moment. Thomas Muller's scored for Bayern, incidentally. James, he rather shoulders into Sanusi a little bit unnecessarily, using his arm. Painful one for Sanusi, who's gone down. It was just outside the penalty area. I think the referee's given a free kick. Marega indicating to the official that it was an elbow. I don't think it was quite that, but it was a bit unnecessary from Reece James. In fact, no free kick has been given. It will just be a throw-in to Porto over on the left-hand side. There's been a real battle between Sanusi and James on that flank, as Sanusi's cross is cleared away at the front post by Azpilicueta. Manafa is then fouled by Mason Mount. Just over on that left-hand side. Porto get on with proceedings quickly. Uribe will look to clip the ball over the top. James is able to stop it reaching Diaz. Chelsea now with Mason Mount, the goal scorer. The only goal of the game so far coming from the informed Chelsea attacking midfielder, who's the youngest ever scorer of a knockout goal in the Champions League, incidentally, with that strike in the 32nd minute. Rudiger now looking to feed the ball down the line. It's intercepted by Manafa, but only at the expense of a throw-in. Porto 0, Chelsea 1. Ben Chilwell will take this throw-in for the Blues. 10 yards or so inside the Porto half. Throw is cut out by Manafa, picked up by Corona, who has gone down rather theatrically. It'll be a throw-in though, rather than a free kick for Porto. Probably are thinking about one or two changes of their own. Sergio Conceição will be in discussions with his coaching team. In the meantime, the 11 that started the match remain out there for Porto. One of those, Luis Diaz, in possession, goes back to Pepe. Mbemba. Back across towards Pepe again, who's been there, done that in terms of winning the Champions League. He feeds it across to Otavio, who's not quite having the influence on the second half as he did on the first. Although it's similar in terms of possession, with Chelsea dominating as they were in the first. You always felt Porto create quite a few chances in that first half. Had Chelsea under control for large parts and looked more of a threat themselves going forward. At the moment, though, it's Chelsea who look the more threatening of the two sides, and the more likely, if we are to see a second goal in this game, for them to get it. Rudiger sending an early free kick forward, trying to catch Porto out, but it's well dealt with by Jesus Corona, who again has gone down. Gingerly gets back to his feet as play continues around him. It's Grujic for Porto. Feeds it forward. Diaz knocks it back to Uribe, who lifts over the top. Marega, can he get on the end of that? Rudiger comes across and is able to scoop the ball out of play for a throw-in. For a second, Moussa Marega was going to be able to get a shot away. Rudiger made sure he couldn't. Into the final quarter of the contest now. Porto 0, Chelsea 1, as I do Sanusi. We saw in the first half has a long throw. He's standing over this one for Porto, and he will hurl it into the penalty area. Flicked on by Pepe. Marega gets a shot away, but it lacks the power that was required as he tried to turn, shoot and control all really in one movement. Dragged it rather into the near post, and Mendy possibly didn't need to throw himself to the floor as he did to save that. One for the cameras perhaps. But made sure nonetheless. Chelsea now in possession as Pilaqueta over on the right hand side. It's a sloppy ball in field though from him. Porto have it. Sanusi to Diaz. 3 Chelsea players around him. Squeezes it back towards Sanusi, who protects the ball well. They've worked it nicely. Sanusi, that's a lovely run down the left hand side. I think he's a better attacking fullback than he is a defensive one. He's seems to be down in a bit of pain there. Reece James guilty of upending him. He's slamming the floor. Sanusi in pain, clutching the lower part of that left leg, maybe the left knee. Certainly seems to be in a lot of pain. Stepped away from Pilaqueta, actually brought him down. The scissor challenge on that left leg in the end. That was pretty inadvertent the way he brought him down. I think Pilaqueta was off balance at the time. But Sanusi in a fair bit of pain, slamming the floor, as I say, in discomfort. And he's receiving treatment. Referee, in fact, just urging Porto to move him off the pitch slightly so play can continue and the free kick can be taken over on that left-hand touchline. He's gingerly getting back to his feet now. Otavio is standing over the free kick, pretty much waiting for his teammate to move so he can have the room to swing it in. Referee making sure Sanusi has gone off the pitch as well. Otavio's delivery into the box. Member forward, Pepe forward. Grujic is an aerial target. Marega an obvious one as well. Otavio has provided plenty of quality so far in this game. It's another good-looking ball. This one headed away though by Reece James. Sliding play from Diaz there, just sending it all the way back to his goalkeeper so Porto can restart. Marquezin will lift it forward out towards the left-hand flank. Sanusi is back on the pitch, incidentally, and he'll take what is a throw-in for Porto midway inside the Chelsea half. 19 minutes plus stoppage time remaining. Sanusi throw. Marega goes down in the area under the challenge from Pilaqueta. He claims penalty. The referee says no. VAR will be able to have a look at any potential foul. Porto now have a free kick on the halfway line, but it's the foul in the penalty box that is the interesting one, and the referee is taking on some advice from VAR. Marega, there were 2 hands in the back from Pilaqueta, but it goes down rather theatrically, and yet the referee happy, and the VAR team happy that he went down too easily there. No penalty given. Porto have possession now. Manafa almost gifted it to Pulisic. Will be a throw-in though to Porto, which the right back will take. Porto will have Mehdi Tarime and Sergio Oliveira most likely back for the second leg next week. Those 2 players suspended for this first leg. Tarime was actually sent off in the second leg of the last 16 tie against Porto. Was PSG have retaken lead. What a game that is in the match available on this service this evening in the Champions League. It's Bayern Munich 2 at PSG 3 now. Kylian Mbappe with his second of the game. Antonio Rudiger prevents the corner there from a Chelsea point of view. We are throwing instead for Porto. Otavio takes it. Gets it back from Corona. He's worked his way into the penalty area now, Otavio. It breaks to Uribe on the edge of the box. Marega, trying to overplay it perhaps a little bit there, and Chelsea can scramble it clear. Porto will come again though, trying to up the tempo. Claims of handball against Chilwell. Not given. It will be another Porto throw-in though. Manafa takes it towards Uribe. Sergio Conceição was acting as ball boy, and the referee not happy actually. I think he's going to book Sergio Conceição. Yellow card for the Porto coach. He stretched and controlled the ball as I think it was Christian Pulisic was trying to keep it in play, but I'm pretty sure it had gone out. Maybe he was out of his technical area and the referee took exception to that. Yellow card though for the Porto boss. Play continues. Mbemba to Marega. Out to Corona. Takes the ball forward, looking for Musa Marega again. Jorginho is able to intercept and Chelsea get the throw in their left-back area. Just looking at the penalty appeal once again when Marega went down. There is a push from Azpilicueta. The argument is it is clumsy, and that was what Marega was indicating to the referee, but again, he went down rather easily. I would say he was looking for the penalty. There's a foul there by Uribe on Chilwell. Porto pressing there. You can see they're trying to up the tempo in these final 20 minutes. Find an equalising goal. A foothold to take into the second leg. Back at the Ramon Sanchez Pizjuan in 6 days' time. It'll be deja vu for these two teams on April the 13th. On that occasion, Chelsea will be the home team, though. Pepe has the ball for Porto. Works it across to Mbemba. Anafa now. Ball down the line is blocked by Kovacic. Porto want handball. It's not forthcoming. Kovacic now into Pulisic. Back to Christensen. Chelsea don't need to force the issue. This would be a good position to take into that second leg. A 1-0 lead, an away goal, a clean sheet. Kind of what we've come to expect under Thomas Tuchel with Chelsea. Apart from, of course, that game against West Brom at the weekend, which ended somehow in a 5-2 victory for the Baggies. Into the closing stages, still Porto 0, Chelsea 1. Porto feeling aggrieved, though. They felt they should have had a penalty when Musa Marega went down in the area. Cesar Azpilicueta had two hands in the back of the forward, although he went down rather easily, and I think that influenced the decision of both the referee and the VAR team. Azpilicueta at the other end has had Chelsea's best chance over recent minutes, heading wide from a Reece James free kick. It does feel like there are more goals in this game. As we tick into the closing exchanges, it's Porto 0, Chelsea 1. Marega there trying to make inroads down the right-hand side for Porto, but he's run out of room, so it'll be a Chelsea goal kick. Still, Porto haven't used any substitutes, incidentally, which is rather surprising at this late stage. Chelsea have made the two alterations with Pulisic and Giroud coming on for Kai Havertz and Timo Werner. There's a goal kick taken forward there by Edouard Mendy. Headed clear by Sanusi, who beats James in the air. Pulled back with Mendy once again for Chelsea. Lays the ball off to Andreas Christensen, who will look to build from the back now. Azpilicueta into Jorginho's feet. It's a rather wayward ball from him, although Sanusi's interception lands at the feet of Reece James. Giroud now bustled off the ball. Often see that. Grujic picks up Marega. Nice layoff into the path of Otavio, who can't quite find Corona on the right-hand side. It's cleared by Chilwell. Game tie feels on a knife edge at the moment. Pepe tidying up at the back for Porto. Marquezin puts his foot through the ball, but hasn't looked that comfortable with his kicking, in truth, the goalkeeper this evening, and he sends it straight out to play into touch for a throw-in, as we're going to see. Perhaps a sign of Chelsea shutting up shop in these closing minutes as N'Golo Kante and Thiago Silva, defensive nous, experiencer, about to enter the fray for Thomas Tuchel's side. In the meantime, Rudiger has it for Chelsea, worked out to Chilwell on the left, heavy touch, and he's given the ball away. Grujic has it. Driving run from Marco Grujic. Needs some support, gets it from Corona, who steps away from Chilwell superbly. Corona now, can't quite feed it into Marega, who tried to take it in his stride and wasn't quite able to do so. Manafa now for Porto. Into Grujic. Otavio on the right, early cross. It's a good looking ball as well. Diaz brings it down, but under pressure from both James and Azpilicueta, can't get a shot away. James then battling away with Uribe, and he's able to come away with the ball. It clears up towards Giroud, who's beaten in the air by Mbemba. Otavio flicks it on. Marega now back to Otavio. Supported by Corona on the right, but he's just trying to take one touch too many, and then there's a really crunching foul in the middle of the park by Grujic. I think it's Kovacic he's maybe taken out. It's a definite yellow card. In fact, it's Pulisic, I think, who's gone down. Grujic taking one for the team there. It's an ugly looking challenge in truth. Yellow card for the Serbian. Joins his teammate Mbemba in the book. Pulisic was stepping inside and he rather wipes it out, and it's a shoulder to the face of Christian Pulisic, who I think was the victim of being considerably shorter than Marko Grujic, which is why it was a shoulder to the face. It wasn't a deliberate ploy from Grujic, I don't think, because Chelsea's goal scorer is the first player who's been replaced in this double change. N'Golo Kante on for him. And Thiago Silva, who lasted 29 minutes of his comeback from injury before being sent off against West Brom at the weekend, is going to come on to replace Reece James. So I imagine Cesar Azpilicueta will move to right wing back, or may almost be just a right back. There, I think that's Thomas Tuchel noticing that Porto have done a lot of their attacking down that left-hand side. Sanusi getting forward to support the likes of Luis Diaz, Corona, Otavio. And Kante will sit in the middle of the park alongside Jorginho and Kovacic, nullify that space for Porto to work in. Pulisic and Giroud really the only out-and-out attacking players on the pitch, as Pulisic finds Azpilicueta on the overlap. His cross into the box is dealt with. Comes to Rudiger for Chelsea. Kovacic to Pulisic. Those to exchange passes midway inside Porto's half. Giroud getting involved. Pulisic trying to return it to Kovacic, who continued his run forward. Manafa is able to intercept. Marega now turning. He's deep inside his own half there. The Porto centre forward, not exactly where he would want it. And Chelsea are able to recycle possession. We're into the final 10 minutes. We're bringing you independent off-tube studio commentary. Still Porto 0, Chelsea 1 in this Champions League quarter-final first leg tie. The other tie taking place this evening is still Bayern Munich 2, Paris Saint-Germain 3. So away sides on top in the Champions League this Wednesday. Still time though for Porto to turn this one around. Chelsea in possession though. Thiago Silva almost brings the game to a standstill as he holds on to the ball. Finds Kante, his fellow sub, and that's a wayward bomb from N'Golo Kante, perhaps getting his eye in. Straight out of play for a throw-in. Not long in a match like this, though, to get your eye in. Sanusi will take this resulting throw-in. Gets it back off Otavio. Goes down looking for a foul, and he doesn't even get the throw-in there. The left-back, as Porto are going to make some changes now. 3, in fact. They're going to be entering the fray. Francisco Conceição, who is the son, incidentally, of Sergio Conceição, is one of the players awaiting to come on. He's just 18 years of age. As meanwhile, Chelsea coming forward with N'Golo Kante. He's challenged well by Manafa, who clears up towards Moussa Maregu. Tries to turn away from Jorginho, puts in a good strong challenge. Goes out of play for a throw on the halfway line. That might spell the triple change. Francisco Conceição is coming on for Manafa. So forward for a fullback. So that's the first change. Just 18 years of age, as I say. Conceição. Marega's surprisingly one of the players coming off as well for Porto. So a change in attack. And Otavio, the other player, coming off. Perhaps tired in this second half. Fabio Vieira is one of the players coming on. Midfield player, he's on for Otavio, just waiting confirmation of the third Porto change. Vieira only 20, Conceição 18, so two very young players coming on. Just awaiting that third and final substitution to be confirmed. Play has resumed, incidentally. Kovacic has it in the middle of the park, interchange with Giroud. Kovacic now driving forward, looking to release Pulisic. Pulisic strike towards goal off the crossbar and cleared away just about by Vieira. Porto's confusion from that triple change maybe allowed Chelsea to get in behind, and Pulisic almost exploited that. The other change is Tony Martinez, incidentally, who came on. That's a couple of really good opportunities that Chelsea have had in this second half. And perhaps they'll feel they should be 2 goals to the good at least now. The Porto have a chance as well, as there's a mistake at the back, and it's a chance now for Ben Chilwell, who rounds the goalkeeper. Chilwell for Chelsea makes it 2-0. He capitalises on a mistake from Jesus Corona, who miscontrolled, and he's able to find the back of the net. Corona, who's almost gone as an auxiliary right back, fails to control, and it's really brilliant from Chilwell. Composure personified. Corona's mistake. Chilwell capitalises. He rounds Marquezine after holding off on Mbemba and taps the ball into the empty net with his unfavoured right foot. Brilliant for Chelsea. Porto 0, Chelsea 2. A crucial second goal for Chelsea. Ben Chilwell, the unlikely scorer, capitalising on a mistake by Jesus Corona at the back for Porto. He miscontrolled. Chilwell picked the ball up. He was breaking down one-on-one on the goal. He rounds Marquezine and finishes calmly with his right foot into the back of the empty net. Porto made 3 substitutions to try and find an equaliser in this game. As soon as those substitutions were made, there was confusion in their ranks. Pulisic hit the crossbar, and seconds later, Chilwell has made it. Porto 0, Chelsea 2. Ben Chilwell with 5 minutes remaining. Porto have gone chasing a goal that they haven't been able to get. And now they do really need a goal just to keep themselves within touching distance in this tie. 2-0. It's a long way back for them in the second leg, albeit it won't be an out-and-out away game because it will be played again at the Ramon Sanchez Pizjuan on neutral territory. But Chelsea are in a very strong position, you would say, to make it through to the semi-finals of the Champions League. Porto 0, Chelsea 2. We've got 4 minutes plus stoppage time to play at the end of this game as Vieira scoops the ball out towards Sanusi on the left-hand side. He loses possession though. Now into Jorginho for Chelsea, who was criticised for his performance against West Brom at the weekend. Not the only player for Chelsea, but his performance this evening has been top draw. No one's really put a foot wrong in a Chelsea shirt. This is almost a perfect away performance, even if it's a performance on neutral territory, but technically an away performance for Chelsea in the Champions League. How crucial could that goal be? Ben Chilwell strike. Chelsea's searching for a third goal, which might actually kill off the tie before the second leg. Sanusi forced to just clear into touch. Still Bayern Munich 2, PSG 3 elsewhere in the Champions League, incidentally. Chelsea have a throw on the right hand side. Cesar Azpilicueta takes it. Gets it back from N'Golo Kante. They run out of room though over on that right hand flank, Chelsea, and it goes out for a Porto throw instead. 2.5 minutes plus stoppage time to play at the end of this match. Marquezine taking a bit of a chance at the back there for Porto. Finds Sanusi, who clears down the line. Thiago Silva though there to head the ball clear. Plenty of experience on the pitch for Chelsea as they look to see out this scoreline or perhaps improve on it. Kovacic, middle of the park. Just rolls the ball back to Rudiger and across it goes to Andreas Christensen. Silva's gone to the centre of the back three since coming on incidentally, moving Christensen to the right, and as I mentioned, Azpilicueta now as the right wing back. Kovacic again for Chelsea, looking over the top towards Giroud. It's too much on it though, and Marquezine will be able to gather. He quickly bowls the ball out into Grujić's feet. Bemba back into Marco Grujić. Pepe will now look long and angles it out towards the right hand side. Rudiger will chest it down. It's not the best control from him, picked up by Conceição. Vieira now across to Luis Diaz. Feeds a angled ball. He was looking for the run, I think, of Corona. Cut out by Chilwell. Chelsea will look to break forward. Pulisic comes into a bit of trouble. It's scrappy in the middle of the park. Grujić will pick it up. He loses possession though. Chilwell's able to clear upfield. Porto are forced to scamper to get hold of the ball again. We're into the final minute of the 90. Pepe has it for the Portuguese side, looking to try and find a goal which would give them a foothold at least to take into next week's second leg. Martinez touches the ball back to Grujić and out to the right hand side with Conceição. Puts his head down. He's got support from Corona. Tries to deliver a cross. It's blocked by Chilwell and out to play for a throw-in. Corona will take it. Looks like he's going to line up a long throw. Can Porto find a goal? Chelsea desperately trying to keep hold of this clean sheet, which would put them in such a strong position heading into the second leg. Corona hurls the ball into the box from the throw. Chilwell heads clear it, comes back to the throw-in taker. Corona lifts it left-footed towards the far post. Mendy comes and claims commandingly it was a hanging cross that invited the goalkeeper out. We're into 3 minutes of stoppage time. Chelsea are preparing their fifth substitution. Emerson looks like he's going to enter the fray shortly for a cameo appearance. Rudiger has it for Chelsea into the feet of Jorginho. Thiago Silva now interchanging with Christensen. Trying to play the way out. Chelsea, almost a mistake from Jorginho. They want to take too many chances at this late stage. Kovacic, trusting his ability, does well. Plays it forward towards Kante, who's driving. He's got Pulisic to his left, Giroud to his right. Kovacic joining in support as well. Kovacic now out to Azpilicueta on the right-hand side, who has to stretch to try and keep it in play, but wasn't quite able to do so at this late stage. That might spell the introduction of Emerson Palmieri. Indeed, he is going to come on. And it's Matteo Kovacic who's going to be replaced. Emerson, the Italian international, hasn't featured too much of late. Third choice left back really behind Ben Chilwell and Marcus Alonso. He's on for the remaining 90 seconds or so of stoppage time. As Jesus Corona has it for Porto. Back into Mbemba. Across to Pepe, who will angle it back out to Corona on the right-hand side. He's been closed down by the substitute Emerson. Lifts it over the top. Martinez to Conceição. He dips in onto his left foot. Finds Vieira. Pepe will feed the ball forward. It's well controlled by Diaz. Was he fouled there? Yes, he was, by Andreas Christensen. So there is a free kick. We're into the final minute of stoppage time. This could be the last chance for Porto to half the deficit heading into the second leg next week. I feel they could do with a goal to really give them something to build on ahead of that fixture on Tuesday. Fabio Vieira standing over the free kick. Pepe's forward and Mbemba's forward from the back. Chelsea still trying to hold a high line out towards the edge of the penalty area. It's a left of centre free kick, about 40 yards away from the goal. Can Vieira find some quality with this delivery? Left-footed ball. It is a good ball just over the head of Chancellor Mbemba, and Martinez trying to keep it alive on the right-hand side. Wasn't quite able to do so. That will probably be just about that in terms of this first leg we've had over the 3 minutes of stoppage time. Antonio Rudiger just getting some treatment for cramp in the penalty area. As he jumped and challenged for that ball, he landed awkwardly with Mbemba. He's feeling the effects of that, Rudiger. Back on his feet, just has to see out the remaining seconds, really. Eduard Mendy standing over what is actually a free kick for Chelsea. And you feel once the goalkeeper sends this ball forward, that will be that. We'll get the referee's final whistle. Mendy does lift it forward, and that's exactly what happens from Slavko Vincic. And the game is over. It was a game really finely balanced for large spells, but Chelsea have taken their chances. They've beaten Porto by 2-0 at the Ramon Sanchez Pizjuan. 2 away goals, with Mason Mount opening the scoring in the first half before Ben Chilwell capitalising on a mistake from Jesus Corona made it 2-0 with just 5 minutes remaining. That could prove crucial heading into the second leg next Tuesday. Chelsea will feel perhaps they have 1 foot in the Champions League semi-finals. The full-time score, Porto 0, Chelsea 2.
Our next football commentary match is getting ever nearer, so why not take the opportunity of having a bet on the match? Whether you're interested in betting on the match result, the first player to score, the last scorer, correct score, double result, total goals market, handicap betting, or any other of our exciting markets, it's fun to be involved. Don't forget, when the match kicks off, you can sit back and enjoy superb independent studio commentary while also enjoying our in-play betting opportunities. Good luck! Our next football commentary match is getting ever nearer, so why not take the opportunity